Two trucks having sex. Two trucks having sex. My muscles involuntarily flex. Two trucks having sex. Two trucks having sex. My muscles involuntarily flex. Two pickup trucks making love, American made.
Listen up, Autobots and Decepticons. You're listening to Prime Cut, a non-linear history of the Transformers franchise on television. I'm one of your hosts, Audrey.
I'm your other host, Nero.
We have, including this episode, 4 podcast episodes left of Armada.
Yep, we are running up to the end here on Armada. Getting very close here. And as makes sense, all of the big plot revelations are happening right now. Everything is all coming together. Character arcs are ending. Character arcs are starting. We gotta listen. We don't
buy our toys.
Buy our toys. Thrust. Well, he's like that.
Thrust just completely drops everything in these episodes. It's really funny to see him go from 0 to 60 in terms of evil.
It's great. What a dumb piece of shit.
And it takes nothing for him to get there either. It's really funny. Just
the slightest amount of suspicion immediately causes him to basically throw a fucking smoker down on the ground and run.
Yeah. Episode 45 in the sub is Treacherous Conviction.
It is Dash in the dub.
Interesting.
Because Hotshot's dashing to the Decepticon base, I guess. Something like that. The name for the second one is going to be very funny in the dub, for us anyway, when we get there. I won't reveal it yet. So we kind of open here on the Decepticon base, and Galvatron is just continuing to justify to himself, I don't need to worry about this Unicron thing. It's not about Trick. Black hole, unrelated.
Ironhide's like, Lord Megatron, I don't mean to doubt anything you're saying, but have you considered that it might not be a trick? And Thrust is immediately like, how many times do I have to tell you that the space devil isn't real and he can't hurt you? Shut up.
Wheeljack is like, I mean, maybe Galvatron, now listen, you know, nobody hates the Autobots more than me, but do you think maybe we should hear them out? And Galvatron says, no.
Now, nobody hates the Autobots more than me, but what we haven't asked is an equally important question. Is there anyone I hate more than the Autobots? And I'm thinking the answer is starting to be yes.
Yeah. And Thrust is, all right, everyone shut the fuck up about this Unicron shit. It's not real. You're all a bunch of marks for falling for it. Galvatron,
it's not
listen.
real. It cannot hurt you.
Listen, Galvatron, I'm almost finished rebuilding the Hydra cannon. It looks like a dragon this time.
Yeah, Thrust is like, look, I actually made it into a weapon instead of just clanging 3 weapons together.
I have perfected my design, and soon we will defeat them all. And Galvatron says, that sounds great. And the reason he is building the Hydra cannon is specifically to deal with the sort of minicon fleet that is currently surrounding the Axelon, the sort of nebula of minicons that protects it from anything happening to it. So Thrust is just gonna shoot the Hydra cannon at them, I guess. That's the plan.
It's good plan, Frank.
Yeah.
All of the Decepticons are sort of about this, and Starscream in particular doesn't say anything. Starscream in these episodes has perfected the art. Good for him. This is the only continuity where you'll see this happen. Has perfected the art of shutting up and observing.
Yeah, this is not a common Starscream trait at all. So we cut over back to the Axelon. Jetfire is out on recon duty. Everyone else is just sort of stuck in the ship because they are completely surrounded by the Decepticon fleet and can't actually go anywhere because if they lose the sort of minicon fleet protection, they're gonna get shot out of the sky.
Oops, all Decepticons.
And no one is really happy about this. I mean, particularly Hoist is very, very grouchy. He seems to be grouchy most of the time these days. But Optimus like, we can't do anything. I tried to get Galvatron to listen to reason, but I guess fuck me, I guess. Goddamn not listening to me. So we're just gonna take it easy and take it slow. And Hotshot doesn't seem satisfied with that idea. He sort of walks off and encounters the kids in the hallway here. Well, he doesn't really interact with them. The kid...
Well, before we get there, we do get, like, a cut of Jetfire.
Yes.
On his mission. And I just want to talk about it for 1 second, because he has a great line in the Japanese. So he's, like, literally crawling around, which is, like, really why they send Jetfire to do this is very mysterious. But he's literally crawling on the ground, looking at his line where it's like, how dare you make Jetfire-sama, Knight of the Sky, crawl on the ground?
Yeah, it's sort of the same there, where he's like, kind of fucking, I'm the goddamn air commander of the Autobot force. I shouldn't be down here crawling in the shit, is basically what he says. Just he's not having a great time. But that's what happens when you're the only Autobot flyer, man. You get sent on recon missions. I'm sorry. So the kids are out in the hall, looking down at the surface of Cybertron, and it's just a bunch of explosions down there. And Alexis, she has a fun euphemism where she says, "Watching all those lights flicker makes me wonder how many Transformers are disappearing down there."
Oh, yeah, no, she says dying.
Yeah, I figured. So they're just sort of grappling with the weight of the, this war put out in front of them.
Rat's like, man, we can't do anything. What do we even come here for? And I'm like, yeah, what did you even come here for? Why are you here? You're making this so much more complicated than it needs to be.
Don't worry, we will get an answer to why they're here very shortly. Kind
of.
It's it's a funny thing. They are actually very helpful, just not in a conventional manner. So yeah, Rad is pretty pissed off that they just can't. He feels completely useless. I don't know what he expected to be doing when he got here, other than be moral support. That's what did you bring a fucking Gundam, bro? What are you gonna do?
You brought a child to a Transformer fight. What are you doing?
Brought 5 children to a Transformer fight. And this is when they see Hotshot walk down the hall, but go down a side hallway. And they're like, "That's weird. He didn't say hi. What's going on over there?" So they go in there, and Hotshot is covered in guns and getting ready to take one of the little escape pod orbs out to the surface of Cybertron.
Hot Rod is taking a note from the U.S. imperialist machine in what it means to go on a peacemaking mission.
Yeah, he's like, "All right, now I know what it looks like. I realize that I have 5 guns on my body right now, not including the ones that are already built in there. But I'm actually gonna go and try to make another peace offering with Galvatron." And I guess that makes sense. You gotta get to Galvatron first, and there's a lot of Decepticons out there who are just gonna shoot your ass. But he's it's funny, as we see later, he will leave a trail of guns as he goes. It's pretty funny, but no one is really super convinced by this. Specifically, I think Carlos is the one who's like, "This seems like a bad idea, bro."
Yeah, once again, Carlos seems to be the voice of reason here, which is, not a good sign for anyone involved.
No. Red Alert walks in and sees all this going down. He doesn't make his opinion quite known yet, but the kids are still talking, and Rad is like, "Carlos, just let him do it. There's nothing we can do. If he feels like this is what he needs to do, this is what he needs to do."
Great, Rad. Who made you military commander?
He's taking a lot after his dad, unfortunately.
But also, like, he has no power here. Like, who gives a fuck what Rad thinks? Literally.
Yeah, I assume Hotshot's just sort of letting him say that to make him feel better, and he would go anyway. The real blessing is Red Alert saying, "I'll cover for you."
Yes.
He actually says he wanted to come along, but you know,
it has to be a solo mission.
Yeah. So Red Alert's like, "Listen, buddy, I'll cover for you. I'll keep the heat off. You just go and do what you got to do." So he flies off, and we cut immediately to the Axelon bridge, and Altus was like, "What? Excuse me? What did he do? Why didn't you stop him?" And Red Alert's
Rad
like,
said it was okay, right? So
that's what Red Alert's just like. Hey, Rad said it was okay. Blame him if you want.
Stupid.
So I do like that Hotshot has disguised his pod as an asteroid to avoid detection. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, in the sub it was Ratchet actually who did that for him. Who was like, if you're going to go, at least like do this way, and like gave him the camouflaging technology or whatever, and Hot Rod's like, holy shit, thanks Ratchet.
Pretty cool. So everyone is just like, well, we can't send any backup, we can't move out of position, otherwise we'll get shot out of the sky. So he just has to do this alone, and we can only hope for the best.
There's a quick shot over to Decepticons during all of this as well, as Hot Rod approaches, where they're all like, Thrust is continuing to work on the cannon, and Starscream is watching him, and he like comes in the middle of Thrust being like talking out loud about like very clearly evil plans, and like being incredibly obvious about it. And Starscream's basically doing the Thrust, hey Thrust, look at me, bitch. Eric Andre show bit, as he like walks away being like, that dude's definitely gonna betray us, cool.
Thrust would be so bad at Among Us. Just terrible at hiding any sort of nefarious plans he has.
He would get booted every time, even when he wasn't actually.
Yeah, just because everyone hates his ass.
The imposter.
So as Hotshot is flying on a solo mission, Jetfire calls in. Really weird coloring error on Jetfire here. He's red and blue.
I didn't even notice.
But he says, "Hey, I found a landing spot for us. It's nice and clear." So the Axelon begins moving out, and of course this starts to kind of draw the attention of the Decepticon fleet here. We cut back to Hotshot. He is doing some like Metal Gear Solid stuff. It's tactical espionage action with Hotshot here.
He's doing Metal Gear Solid stuff, but Metal Gear Solid stuff if you accidentally set off the alert and then you get everyone on your ass.
Oh yeah, he is not doing good tactical espionage action.
My favorite part of it is he like, while he's being chased by a couple Decepticons, who for the most part are nameless. Cyclonus joins in at some point.
Yeah.
Sorry, Sandstorm joins in at some point, but
he starts out fighting the generics, as they are
Yeah.
termed in the fandom. These like I love the Armada generics in particular, because all of these nameless Cybertronian guys are basically cobbled together out of G1
Yes.
animation models.
And there's a particularly funny one, but that we get to later. But he's getting chased by these generics, and he ends up like going into an alley, and then they find him in the alley, and he go gadgets foot tracks to slide his way up the walls that
It's
he's
so
between.
cool. I always love it when he uses his weird foot blades to do cool stunts like this. And he's like going up this weird, like it kind of looks like an empty elevator shaft, but as he's going up, he is blasting away and firing on all of the guys on the various levels who are still shooting at him.
There's a
Pretty
great
good.
line from Sandstorm as he chases him, which is, again, in Japanese, "Where do you think you're going, hombre?" He says the Spanish word, hombre.
Yes! Hombre.
Which, if
maybe...
that wasn't taken over into the dub, first of all, why? Second of all, damn, sucks to be you.
Unfortunately, he does not say hombre. I wish he did. I take that to mean that Cyclonus was also watching some westerns, just like Hotshot was when they were on Earth.
Sure. Cyclonus watched everything. He watched all... that's why he's like that, actually. Sandstorm
he
watched
rotted his
all...
brain.
Yeah, he watched all 100 channels simultaneously. And that's why he's like that.
Yeah, so Cyclonus shows up, Demolisher shows up, Wheeljack shows up. So now sorry, Hotshot, you're no longer fighting the nameless goons. You are fighting the real guys now. And so he Wheeljack kind of steps up to challenge him, right? As one would expect. He's kind of and this entire time, Hotshot isn't really fighting them. Like at this point, I think he's dropped all his guns, and he's basically just yelling, "Hey, just take me to Galvatron. I just want to talk to Galvatron. I got to talk to him about something really important."
Yeah, even when Rampage gets there, he's like, "You want to kill me, but do it after I talk to Galvatron, please."
Yeah, it's just like, I have business here. I don't want to fuck around with you guys. We cut back to the Axelon, which, under fire from a lot of enemy ships. Luckily, Minicon's been watching Naruto because they do a shadow clone jutsu on the ship and just make a whole bunch of duplicate Axelons holograms to sort of draw the enemy fire.
It is shockingly effective.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to tell them apart. So the Axelon kind of moves closer to its landing site as these Minicon duplicates kind of get dissipated here. It's really funny. So we cut to Galvatron in the throne room talking to Thrust, and Thrust is like, "All right, now all you need to do is hand me the Star Saber, and the Hydra Cannon will be fully operational once again." And Galvatron's just like, "All right, sounds great. Here you go." And as he is raising his arm to hand it to Thrust, the wall explodes and Hotshot comes falling through the hole.
Yeah, all the Decepticons fall after him, and Megatron's like, "Okay, that's weird. Kill him." And Rampage is the one who's like, "Hey, Lord Megatron, listen, friendship over with trying to kill Hot Rod. Now, working together with Hot Rod is my new best friend."
Yeah, he comes back around on Hotshot real fast. He fucking blocks Megatron's swing of the Star Saber with his fucking weird sword and says, "I think you know what? This guy really wanted to talk to you. I think you should hear him out. I think what he has to say is really important." And Galvatron's just like, But then Thrust starts opening his mouth and doing his thing. You should not trust this fucking Autobot idiot. You should just hand me the sword, Galvatron.
Well, Hot Rod starts speaking first.
Yeah, that's right. First
he's like, "Listen, Unicron is real. The Space Devil's real. He can hurt you." And Thrust is like, "That's nonsense. Hand me the sword, Lord Megatron." And Megatron's
what I love
like,
in the dub is when he starts saying he takes a very oh great and powerful Galvatron. I come here with a humble message for you. Really playing up to his ego a little bit for this message.
Interesting. Yeah, he gets
instead of
straight
Optimus
to the
is
point.
straight. Yeah, instead of Optimus's straight talk of "listen, dipshit."
Yeah, he also gets really straight to the point. He's not as insulting, I think, but he's like, "Listen, the Space Devil is real. He can hurt you. Stop fighting us because we're all going to die if we don't concentrate our efforts on defeating the Space Devil." And Thrust's like, "That's ridiculous. Hand me the sword, Lord Megatron." And Megatron at this point's like, "Wait, why are you so agitated?" And Thrust's like, "I'm not agitated, you're agitated." And Megatron's like, "Why are you experiencing botherations? You ugly motherfucker. What the hell is going on?" And Thrust is like, "Nothing's going on. You're going on." And Megatron's like, "All right, Hot Rod. You and I have had our differences, but do finish what you're saying."
Yeah, and so as Hotshot finishes up and talking about Unicron, Galvatron turns back to Thrust.
There's a great line here, as Thrust and Megatron argue, actually, where Ironhide and Sandstorm are trying to decipher what's going on with Megatron, and Ironhide's like, what is happening here? And Sandstorm's like, I don't know, ask him. And he points above him where, like, Shockwave is looming over the both of them, and Shockwave just goes, Shockwave?
Very good. So, yeah. And then Galvatron turns back to Thrust after he's heard Hotshot out and says, you know, I was thinking recently. I've had a lot of time to think because, you know, I'm winning the war and all, sitting around a lot. Where did you get the idea for the Hydra cannon? How did you know about it? Where how did you find out about that? Who told you about that, Thrust? Because, like, you kind of just came up with it one day. And I know you wouldn't do it on your own. You couldn't do it on your own, Thrust. So who told you?
And Thrust immediately.
Thrust is fucking Inyaba sweating immediately. It's like, I googled it. Don't worry about it.
And it takes, like, one more instance of Megatron being like, alright, stop playing, before Thrust is like, you are correct! It was my nefarious plan this entire time!
Well, actually, there's one more thing that happens, which is Starscream finally speaks up and is like, yeah, where'd you figure out the Hydra cannon? And also, why have you been manipulating me and trying to get me to kill Galvatron for you behind your back so that you can take command? And Thrust is like, he's at first doing the Andre the Giant gift, but then he just starts pointing the Requiem blaster at everyone because he still has the weapons, the other two.
Yeah, and he's like, you're right, you've seen through my masterful trick. It's like, it wasn't Thrust. It was really. And he's like, goodbye forever! Throws a smoke bomb.
Well, okay, so he does some insane shit. So first of all, he says,
what the
I don't know
fuck
I don't know
just
how he can
happened
do
here?
this. Yeah, so...
Hey, so first of all, there's something that we've never seen on Thrust before, and we're not going to see on him again ever in 5 minutes. And this is a rotor.
Now, this is an ability that G1 Thrust has. See, G1 Thrust's design, he was like a VTOL aircraft.
Yes.
His wings had these huge fucking fans on them. And his whole thing was that he could create massive wind vortexes to fuck with people.
Right.
And so for one scene, to get away, Thrust can also do this by... it was either a rotor or he was just spinning his wings really fast. It looked like a rotor, but like...
I don't think it was, because he had his wings separately. You could still see his wings. It's just for one scene, he has a fucking rotor. It's gone in the next scene.
So he uses this to blow everyone away and, like, flee into the depths of Cybertron here.
And when we say flee into the depths of Cybertron, I need to be very clear. He blows everyone away and then throws at the peace sign and fades away.
Yes, he like...
What the fuck?
He fucking teleports away with his weird invisibility powers. And immediately... And also, we should say, he totally announces his fucking allegiance to Unicron. He says, I work for the Space Devil. I love the Space Devil. All of you are gonna die. I'm gonna be the new guy in charge.
Space Devil loves me. This I know, because his weird agent told me so.
I made a deal with him, and those always work out great for the contractee. I know this. I've never read a story in my life.
But never watched
smart.
Monica.
So I'm going to go and talk with the Space Devil. Goodbye. And Galvatron has immediately basically forgotten all of that stuff about Unicron. He is in full, I need to kill Thrust right now mode. He's basically throwing a fucking temper tantrum.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't forgotten it. He's just blinded by rage.
Yeah, he is just fucking pissed off. And Wheeljack kind of picks Hotshot and was like... Hotshot's like, God damn it, I kind of thought I'd be getting somewhere, but then Thrust had to go do all this shit. And Wheeljack's like, don't worry, I believe you. Also, I love you again. It's fine. We're pals again.
Also, what if we were friends again and both boys?
Uh-huh. And then Starscream jumps into the weird Cybertron hole after Thrust. He's going for it.
Yeah, Starscream doesn't say a word. He's just like, while Megatron is in the middle of having a temper tantrum, he's like, fuck this shit, I'm out.
Yep. Time to go kill Thrust. Also, the Axelon lands, and we see what Optimus's plan is. He is issuing a full retreat order for everyone on Cybertron. He is issuing a complete halt to all combat on all units as the Axelon lands and he starts transmitting. And the episode ends here with we see Hotshot and Wheeljack driving down to the depths. We see Starscream jumping down after Thrust, who is running for his life down in these weird looking tunnels. Which brings us to the next episode for this week. What is it called in the sub?
In the sub, it is Truth of Destiny.
Drift in the dub.
Sure.
So we open once again on Galvatron's fucking temper tantrum of just kill that squid head right now.
So I finally realized what his new design reminds me of.
What is
colors? Galactus.
He is a little bit Galactus-y in some shots, yeah. There's not enough. It's the purple highlights are definitely there. Not enough blue to be super Galactus-y, but more, in the face area, it's definitely.
Yeah. So, anyway, yes, he's still pissed.
Yeah. So while Optimus is mobilizing everyone in a full retreat, Galvatron is mobilizing everyone in a kill thrust formation. Just like. He's just sending out JPEGs of Thrust saying, "I want this ugly ass dead. Get him." So as this is all going on, we kind of cut around to various generic Decepticons all going about their business. And we also see the Autobots going around giving out Optimus's orders, and Hoist and Scavenger encounter a particularly ornery base commander or whatever, who's like, "Are you fucking serious?"
Yeah, they're pissed.
We have been fighting here for who knows, like fucking millions of years, and then Optimus comes back and says, "Time to go." Fucking and like, Hoist finally met someone grouchier than he is, but this guy it just says, "Yeah, fine, whatever, fucking." I guess we're leaving, boys, because the big red guy said so. Fucking His fucking guy. They are not happy with this order at all. But like, I really love that Scavenger and Hoist really have just become the two old guys who hang around.
Yeah,
like they are the construction equipment.
Exactly,
they are the old
that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, the old Italian men who watch stuff with their hands behind their backs. So while all this is going on, we see Rat has gotten out of the shower. He's having some shower thoughts, presumably. The best place to think.
And so, Carlos is like, Rat, are you in here? First of all, we're no boundaries, but go off. And Rat steps out of the shower with the towel around his waist. Did he bring the towel with him inside the shower?
I guess you could, depending on how big the shower is.
Does he just have a nice wet towel to dry himself off with?
Also, they didn't think they were going to be bringing the kids until very recently. Why do they have a shower? Did they install that real quick? Did they just bolt a shower module onto the ship?
It's a sonic shower for the Microns. like they have in fucking Star Trek, which I know you haven't watched, but
So yeah, Rad's like, I was just thinking in there, shower might do you some good, Carlos. And Carlos immediately, is you saying I'm fucking stinky? Is that what you're saying? It's like, calm down. So Rad, he's doing some thinking outside of the shower too, because he's like, if Optimus is ordering a full retreat, that must mean we are getting ready to fully mobilize against Unicron. This looming threat is going to become an immediate threat very shortly. And he's like, Carlos, yeah, it's weird how this whole thing started, and we found a weird rock in a cave, and then we touched it, and then robots came out of it. And Carlos is like, yeah, it was a pretty weird coincidence. Rad's like, I'm beginning to wonder if it was a coincidence at all. There's some weird destiny shit going on here, Carlos.
Don't worry about it, Rad. It's just your guilt over not being able to do anything talking. You're just a kid. You're not destined for anything greater.
Don't worry about it. So we cut back to the Decepticon base. I think it's Demolisher who's delivering some... Or no, I think it might just be a normal generic who's like... Yeah, it's a normal generic who comes over with Lord Galvatron. We've just learned that the Autobots are in full recruit, and Galvatron says, I'm sorry. Were any of the words out of your mouth, I have found and killed Thrust? No? Then leave. I don't fucking care. Fuck off. I don't care what Optimus Prime is doing right now. He can do whatever he wants. I have a squid head to crush. Still just very single-mindedly like fuck that guy mode.
Yeah.
So the kids come into the bridge of the Axelon, where they're getting an intel report from Hotshot, who's filling everyone in on what happened, which is that Thrust very suddenly but inevitably betrayed everyone.
Right.
And is running through the tunnels, and Carlos is like, Is that Wheeljack over there? Should we, is he good? And Sideshow's like, no, it's fine. He's cool now. He's good now. Don't worry about it. Because Hotshot and Wheeljack are just hanging out. They're just friends again. It's great. So then Highwire speaks up.
Well, wait, very quickly, we get a shot of... Maybe this was beforehand, but we do get more shots of Grap and Devastator making their rounds.
Yeah.
And we do get my favorite model of the generics here, who is clearly based on RC's G1 model.
I think this is after, because this is one of the Decepticons who was out looking for Thrust, I believe.
Oh, okay, you're right.
Because they're like, yeah, I don't really know what we're going to be accomplishing out here. We'll just kill some time and then head back to base. I don't think we're going to be fighting the guy. Which is great. That I love to see that. The more time theft representation is what I say. But yeah, that's after the kids head out onto the surface, which is brought on by Highwire looking at the... So Hotshot and Wheeljack are calling in from these weird catacombs underneath Cybertron. And they look very techno-organic. You know, yes. Cybertron on the surface, very, very jagged, very metal, like very, very classic Cybertron here. The parts they're in right now, kind of weird and squishy looking. And they only get weirder and squishier the deeper you get. And Highwire speaks up and says, I know this place. This is where the mini-cons were created. Which is, I'm sure won't mean anything in a minute. So Rad decides they are going to go out on their own. Without telling anyone.
Yes.
Again.
Well, why would they?
The classic. Billy and Fred don't come along at least. I assume they were... So that... Alright, so it's very funny. Very soon we will get into the stable time loop that sort of is the reason the kids are here at all. But that's only these three. Billy and Fred don't need to be here.
No, they're just there for the yucks.
They're just there to have a good, a fun time. Like they aren't bonded to any mini-cons or anything. They're just around. But
we're gonna get. Here's the thing: we're gonna get like a huge shock twist at the end where they've both been microns the entire time.
Oh my god! So we kind of get a shot of Starscream wandering these weird tunnels alone. We get a shot of Thrust still running around. And then...
Such a fucking weenie.
And then Hotshot falls down Springfield Gorge. He's, like, scaling down a cliff, and Wheeljack's like, hey, bro, watch out for that foothold. And Hotshot's like, don't worry, I got it, and then immediately beefs it and falls like 1 billion feet. It's great. He's fine, though. He lands in front of some weird stuff.
Yeah, don't
weird
worry. Don't worry about it. He's made of tough stuff, and Cybertron is a fine dead planet that's not alive at all. Don't worry about it.
Yes, the walls aren't sort of oozing, and there's not kind of weird, half-formed shapes kind of pushing out of the ground. And Hotshot and Wheeljack is looking at this and going, ugh.
I have to say that the twist that we get at the end of this episode, which you may have figured out at this point, it's not that hard to figure out, and it is somewhat predictable, but it is the shit that I do like very much.
Oh yeah, it rules. I love this. So yeah, they're like investigating this stuff, and Hotshot like grabs something and just it's all weird and gooey, and he's like, "This is like technology and organic matter blended together. This is
the Devil
weird."
Gundam.
And Wheeljack's like, "Yeah, I don't like this at all. Let's keep moving before I barf or something." Yeah, so this is when we see the kids have snuck out without telling anyone, and Rad's like, I just feel like this is important. I feel like we need to go down here. I'm getting a sense that we gotta be down here for some reason. And then the street action team are compelled to drag them towards this hole.
Welcome to Mr. Wheelie's Wild Ride.
Yeah, they just transform and basically grab these kids and just send them screaming down a hill into the depths of Cybertron.
For the people who brought you Double Face's Dick Smasher, it's Wheelie's Wild Ride.
It's really just a complete, 90-degree slope that just keeps going, and just
yeah. Listen, I've been on King Dakar.
Exactly. So, Thrust has decided apparently he's gotten deep enough, and he's like, "Sideways, I betrayed everyone. They found me out. I got the gun and the shield. I don't have the sword though, but I have the gun and the shield. Hello, Sideways." And then Starscream walks up and says, no, I don't think so.
Yeah, Starscream's like, "Hey, what's good, homie?"
Now, the unfortunate part is that Thrust has the upper hand because he has two of the weapons on him. And also and then the kids show up.
But keep in mind that Starscream has the power of God and anime on his side.
Yes. So Thrust is basically ranting to Starscream, and he says that he will rule Cybertron alongside Unicron. It's like, bro, you really are dumb as fuck, aren't you? Starscream basically says that you're completely deluded, aren't you?
Well, he's like, Starscream, it's not too late. You can you can still join us, and you can rise to the top of the Cybertronian race. And Starscream's like, yeah, I'd rather die, but thanks.
Yes, I'd rather not enter some kind of hell pact with the Cyber Devil, Thrust, if that's all right with you. I'd rather chop your head off if that's okay. This is when the kids show up, right after his join the dark side offer, and Alexis calls out for Starscream. He's like, "Oh, Starscream," and he's like, "Alexis." And then Thrust points the Requiem Blaster directly at the children. It's like, all right, I don't know why these things are here, but time to make them not be here anymore. Starscream goes to intervene, and Thrust... Okay, so several things happen at once. First of all, Starscream gets absolutely blown the fuck away by the Requiem Blaster. He is dead as shit.
Yeah, Starscream...
Direct hit.
Yeah, so Thrust points the gun at the children. Starscream tries to intercept. Thrust goes, "Oh, fuck it. I can just kill you. Fuck, what the hell am I doing?" Blasts him into next week. Starscream death count 2. 2!
Then, Highwire's eyes begin to flash rapidly. Then, the light of the Requiem Blaster envelops the kids in a sort of blinding radiance. And then they're back. Light fades, they're in the room. And things start getting a little Cronenberg-y.
I was gonna go Lynchian, but yeah.
More of a body horror angle here, because they sort of look around. No Thrust, No Starscream, although frankly at this point Starscream is probably mostly dust. But they do. Hey, Hotshot's here.
He's here, but he's dead.
Yeah. First of all, he's in his original colors. Second of all, those original colors are looking pretty faded. Third of all, he is being devoured by techno-organic tendrils.
Yeah. So this is cool. So Unicron is the Matrix, basically. It's the Matrix, and all Transformers are the humans stuck in the Matrix, and they literally feed him.
Yeah, they are like, the kids are just sort of not entirely aware of what's happened yet. They go up to Hotshot. He doesn't recognize them at all. He at first thinks they're minicons, and he's like, "Oh shit, is that a minicon over there?" Oh no, it's just some weird beings. That's fine.
So
listen,
yeah.
don't fuck with the minicons. You see one, run.
Yeah. So, I mean, speaking about this as the interpretation of Unicron is really interesting because Unicron is known as, like, a planet eater. Like, that is a nickname he gets.
Right.
In several continuities.
Often what he literally does.
And often what he literally does, eating planets whole. But, like, this interpretation of being a planet eater is actually really interesting, where he eats, instead of actually just, like, devouring entire planets whole, he is instead vampirically leeching them dry of all of their living beings. So I kind of like it. It's cool.
Yeah, so all of the kids are just sort of fighting back the horror here, and they're like, well, what about, where is everybody? And Hotshot's like, what do you mean? Everyone's right here. And then we get shots of
are here.
We get shots of everyone's fucking corpses stuck
again,
to the wall,
yeah.
sucked into these horrible techno-organic pits. Like, we see Optimus, Megatron, Cyclonus, all fucking dead.
And
Red Alert, dead.
It's not as organized as the Matrix, but it is, like, the same idea. Again, just sort of, like, stuck into the wall, having all their life leached out.
Yeah, and they don't even get to live in a cool city. They just get to die slowly.
Yeah, and Hot Rod's like, this is what happens when the Microns run to him. This is what happens when the Microns get to you. And he, like, looks the kids in the eyes and goes, the Microns are the powerhouse of Unicron cells. Yeah. Fades away.
Yeah, then he dies. There is one thing I forgot to mention. Right before this happens, right before they wake up in Cyber Hell, Rad is shot back in time to when he was moving to Lincoln as a young lad. But, like, he remembers everything. But he's driving up to Lincoln with his family. Weird. This was so strange. He wakes up and he first like, well, what about Thrust and Starscream and Optimus? And his dad's like, you all right there? You really must have slept hard. You're babbling again. Look at that mountain. It's got a big old space
We're
dish
new
on it.
in town, cool? Son.
Welcome.
Welcome to... Listen, there's only two stories, right? Either a man goes on a journey or a new man comes to town. So.
Exactly. Yeah, then that's when they awaken in Cyber Hell. Yeah, and then, like, Hotshot is dead. Alexa starts freaking the fuck out, as one would probably do in this situation.
Also, she just saw her, like, huge romantic... skyscraper, building-sized love interest get blasted into dust.
Oh yeah, absolutely owned into oblivion by a big gun.
I would feel the same way. I'd be crying if I saw a giant robot die.
All of the others are dead. Optimus's fucking lifeless husk is hanging above them. It's a bad situation.
But don't worry, it gets better.
Yeah, it gets better. They get shot further back in time.
Way further back. Well, this wasn't... I mean, this wasn't... It's hard to call when this took place with them.
Yeah.
Whether it was in the past or, like, a potential future.
This was I think this was technically...
A potential future. That's what I thought.
Yes, I think this was like a present.
It had to have been a potential present future because they don't know who Unicron was.
Yeah,
before.
And then
So
they get shot way back into the past. There's
like
still these
millions
tunnels.
of years into the past.
However, instead of, there's no horrible decaying Autobot and Decepticon husks lining the walls, only pleasant things like horrible pulsating egg sacs full of minicons.
Listen, it's just like putting like some blood under a microscope. This
The
is just what your cells are doing right now.
The sounds that these things make when they hatch is revolting. It's like squelch. It's the Foley is so rough as these minicons start to drop down and begin marching. And we've seen minicons, right? They're fucking cute little guys. They love hanging out and being rambunctious. These are just mindless killing machines. These are... Give me a moment. Is it possible that these tiny toyetic robots are actually the spawn of the Space Devil? 3 middle schoolers will investigate by being shot back in time. Yeah, I don't know. The History Channel's budget has really been increasing lately. They can do a lot of wild shit.
Only on Toonami.
So, yeah, there's a horde of mindless evil minicons marching towards the surface of the planet. This is the moment of the minicons' creation. This is their creation from the cells of Unicron. And Rad sees Highwire among the crowd, and he, runs forward to grab him. But, those cute little eyeballs Highwire has, the little white circles that give him so much personality.
He's no thoughts, head empty.
No thoughts, head empty, full evil. And he even has, a creepy version of the minicon bleep bloops that's, got static behind it, and it's sort of low-pitched. And he just shoves Rad to the ground and keeps walking. Spooky shit.
Spooky scary.
Oh, Rad also gets a flash of Unicron in silhouette. You just see the eyes in a vague, hulking form, but, the implication is there. So... not accepting this, Rad runs after him again and is yelling out you don't have to be the tools of Unicron. You can escape and live your own life. You have to come to Earth. You have to meet us. You can't allow that horrible future timeline we saw to come to pass. And the reason the kids are here on Cybertron is because they're the ones who basically incepted a soul into the minicons.
So, hey, listen, I know we have a question about this, but to be very clear, the kids are the ones who are their own grandpas.
Yes.
Paula Fry in Futurama. It's them.
The entirety of Armada is basically a stable time loop involving a bunch of 13-year-olds.
Deranged way to go about this, but sure, go off.
Insane. It is. I love it so much. the minicons are evil. They would have been used they were created explicitly to make the fucking Autobots and the Decepticons destroy each other, and then be weak enough that Unicron could simply swoop in and suck them dry. But because of this one interaction, because of this one connection that they make at the very moment of their creation, they are saved from that fate and decide to forge their own path. And then time resets. Starscream gets unobliterated. He's back, everyone. Don't worry.
Back and ready to die again. Won't be the last time.
Yeah, luckily Perceptor combines and knocks Thrust off balance for just long enough to... he doesn't do it. Perceptor doesn't actually do anything to Thrust. He mostly gets smacked away, but that buys Starscream enough time to actually, restrain Thrust instead of, getting shot to hell. And yeah, so then during the struggle, Thrust fires the blaster into the air, which alerts Hotshot and Wheeljack to their location, along with everybody else who has eyes. And the cavern begins collapsing. Thrust, as he is wont to do, sneaks away like a little shit. And Starscream shields the children from the cave-in.
That's my boy.
So...
Now, no, I would be saying this about Starscream even if he was murdering someone. You'll see this
That's
in Prime.
Oh, absolutely. Man, Prime Starscream is a real son of a bitch. I love him.
I love him. He's my favorite. He's such an asshole.
Literally, the first thing he does on screen is murder somebody.
Oh.
In an extremely gruesome way, too.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Starscream, I hate you so much, but your pussy game ridiculous.
So, Starscream has saved everyone. Hotshot and Wheeljack come running in like, what the hell's going on? They are extremely freaked out by how happy Carlos is to see them. Because Carlos is like, latching onto Hotshot's like, oh my god, I'm so glad you're okay. And Hotshot's like, oh, alright.
That's
Did
fine,
I miss
bud.
something? Yeah, cool. And then they get even more freaked out by Rad saying, yeah, so we know everything now. The minicons are the spawn of Unicron. And Hotshot's like, oh fuck. That's not good. So that's kind of where we end, with everyone standing around going, ah, shit. Oh, I think also Starscream leaves to continue pursuing Thrust. He doesn't stay around. You know.
Yeah, and Alexa's like, no, Starscream, don't go. And Starscream's like, I'm gonna go. Bye.
I have to go now. I have a squid head to kill. I'm sorry. So yeah, that is the end of these episodes. Big revelations. You know, it's great. I love how little Unicron is actually on screen in the show. He hasn't actually shown up yet. Unless you count
this one isn't called Unicron now, is it?
Well, we are in the Unicron battles in the dub, and he is at the end of every intro, you know, punching Cybertron or whatever.
Sorry, that's really funny.
I'll show you the logo later. It looks it looks really funny. It's like really shitty looking.
Yeah.
But yeah, he is not physically shown up yet. He will, don't worry. He will eventually show up. We will see the big funny evil guy. But like, I appreciate the restraint when it comes to Unicron and how much his like menace is built up.
Yeah.
Something that I cannot say for this show's sequel series, which basically just has Unicron plastered over the entire show all the time.
Well, we got 6 episodes to go, folks. But until we get to those, we have some questions.
Yeah, some questions.
You can ask us questions both on Twitter and on Discord. We don't have any on Twitter this week, but we do have several in Discord. The first one is from Karshmello, which is, what completely normal thing do you do in the past that totally destroys the timeline?
A la butterfly effect.
Yeah. I think probably for me, I tried bacon for the first time at a younger age. It took a long time. I'm Jewish, so it took a long time for me to eat pork products. I eat many pork products now, but my parents were pretty good. None of us ever kept kosher, but my parents had like a soft rule of not bringing pork inside the house. Like, they would eat bacon in restaurants, but they wouldn't, like, bring it inside the house. But I think that would probably alter the timeline in unspeakable ways. Finishing
learning how to ride a bike. I never finished.
Really?
I was too much of a weenie. I didn't want to scrape my elbow.
That's
I never actually finished.
My dad spent, like, years trying to teach me how to ride a bike, and then my mom and my sister took over for one afternoon, and I immediately learned how to do it.
Yeah, I feel like I just kept at it. I would have gotten it, but I was like, I don't want to... I was a big wimp as a kid. I'm only a mild wimp now.
Yeah, that's right. We're not at Weenie Hut Juniors anymore. We're just at Weenie Hut.
Weenie Hut Seniors.
From Cass...
Next...
Yeah, from Cass Arachnia. Which Cybertronians are secretly in a cult devoted to the greater good, and who comes in and saves everyone from them, with a gif from Hot Fuzz here.
That's such a good movie. I always think about the shot of Timothy Dalton smiling in front of the picture of Timothy Dalton.
It's pretty good.
See, the word secretly here, I would say IDW Starsaber, but he's not secret about it. He's just a freak. Secretly Drift. In the like,
if we're talking about the greater continuities, Drift, and he doesn't realize it.
Yeah,
that was Drift when he was Deadlock.
Yeah. Like there are a few examples of like a weird cults. Thrust is not working towards the greater good very explicitly.
It's all of the city speakers.
That's true.
It's all of the like flame followers.
Oh yeah, it's actually definitely them.
Yeah. But
boy.
if we're talking Armada, Ironhide is the one who falls for the cult, thinking
Ironhide
he's doing
and Ironhide and Sideswipe are the ones who are most susceptible to that, I think.
Oh yeah, Stepper for sure.
So Cyclonus would never join anything that would work towards the greater good.
No. Yeah. He's equally susceptible to cults, just not ones that pretend to be for the greater good.
Anything fun around here? You just
No, he's
work towards
he's
the
into
quote
the death
unquote
cults.
greater good. Yeah.
Yeah, he's into the death cults. Also from Cass, speaking of Solo, which Star Wars films are the Autobots' favorites, and which soft drinks are the Decepticons' favorites? I'm sorry, I simply do not care about Star Wars.
Let's see. I mean, I can answer that part, I guess. Blur, he's kind of an edgelord. I think he's a prequel man. He likes Revenge of the Sith, I think. Sideswipe likes whatever Hotshot likes, which would be I think Hotshot's a big fan
New Hope.
of. Yeah, New Hope. He loves the underdog, young guy fulfilling his destiny. Really relates to old Luke there. Optimus, I think, really, I think he is a big fan of Empire. He's like, it's always darkest before the dawn. We must always remember that. Jetfire likes Revenge of the Sith because of all the space battles at the beginning of it. He thinks it looks cool. He never watches it past that, but like he likes to watch the opening of it over and over again. Scavenger,
Rise of
original
Skywalker.
trilogy. God no. No. The Rise of Skywalker fan among the Autobots is... I don't think any of them like the Rise of Skywalker, because none of them are that stupid. I think Red Alert probably likes The Last Jedi. That's his contrarian take, even though that's the correct contrarian take. And yeah, Scavenger and Hoist, they're the old men. They only watch the original trilogy. They literally don't care about any other Star Wars media.
Empire Strikes Back or Bust Baby.
Exactly. They always, it's them and Optimus watching that every other month for movie night. Hoist
Just
will
ESB
always,
too, not even any of the either
not
two.
The others. Not the other. Hoist like, I don't want to deal with those fucking Ewoks. I hate those things. Hoist will always cry at the I love you scene. Yeah, let's see. Soft drinks for the Decepticons. Cyclonus loves Four Loko.
Of Solo Cups.
Yeah. Cyclonus loves Four Loko, specifically the old fucked up Four Loko when it still had caffeine in it.
Yeah. On that note, Starscream drinks Red Bull. But only because it has red in it.
Does he still drink it now that he's mostly not red, except in the face?
Yeah, it doesn't matter that he's fucking true form Starscream, whatever.
Actually, hey, I just realized he has the color palette of a Red Bull can.
Yeah, perfect.
Blue, red, yellow, and like silver. That is truly his true form.
Ironhide.
He seems like a Sprite guy to me. I don't know.
He's a Sierra Mist guy.
Oh my god, nothing too exciting for me.
Right,
please.
exactly. Can't do Sprite or 7-Up. He's Sierra Mist. Megatron just drinks black coffee.
Yes. Wheeljack, I feel like he pretends to like something. He pretends to drink like fucking monsters to look cool, but actually he just really loves root beer.
Root beer's a good one for him. I can see him on the root beer train.
Shockwave, I don't know if he can drink.
Shockwave drinks grape soda.
Yeah, okay, there we go. What about Thrust? What does Thrust drink? Other than treachery.
Thrust only drinks Earl Grey and he hates it, but he has an image to uphold.
Perfect. He secretly so badly just wants to drink a fucking 2-liter of Coca-Cola.
Oh no, Baja Blast is his actual favorite.
Yes, he will see. He has a secret Baja Blast stash, and if you find it, he'll kill you.
Only the worst shit for.
He'll have a fucking like accident out on the training range tomorrow if you threaten to reveal his secret Baja Blast love.
Yeah. Cass's next question we already answered. It's is also which Transformer is also their own grandfather, Olafry in Futurama. It's the kids.
Yes.
And last part of her question, and parentheses, and hence lacks the Delta Brainwave and is the only one who can save us from the Quintessons.
The Quintessons.
Yeah. It's the kids, and that actually tracks.
That does track.
Okay. From Hornmeister Scream. If any Transformer would get sent back in time, which one, A, doesn't change the timeline? Ratchet.
Yes, he knows the rules of time travel.
Ratchet's on top of it.
We don't touch anything. We don't interact with anything. We just sit here until we can go back.
Actually, I'm going to change it based on their next thing, repairs the timeline, because that's Ratchet. So Optimus is the one who just doesn't touch anything.
See, I would say Optimus would be the one who might fix it. Well, okay, maybe not this Optimus, but I know a lot of Optimuses who are just sort of like
sure,
weighed down with mighty, horrible regrets and would probably try and fix things.
Accidentally messes up the timeline as Hot Rod. Doesn't mean to do it, but does it anyway.
Does it the timeline on purpose? Cyclonus.
Yeah. Thrust.
Double
Face for sure.
Double Face is the one who sent them back in time in the first place.
Again, just for a laugh, reason. Mate.
Yeah, just for some fucking Unicron-based plot.
Sure. Okay, no, okay. Here's the thing. Double Face messes up the timeline on purpose, and then from KZ Cosmotector, which one goes back in time to do something really damn petty to change the timeline? That's Thrust.
Yes. God. He would go back in time to win an argument. That's what he would do.
And then
he would here's what he would do. He would lose an argument in a really fucking Megatron would call him a dumb squid head and tell him to fuck off. And he would get really mad, and he'd ask Sideways to send him back. He'd knock out his former self. He'd go back, and he's all right. I've got the perfect comeback. I'm going to win this argument, and it goes the exact same way. When he gets back, everyone is made of snakes or something. I don't know.
You know that comic that's like, is that your persona? That's cringe. You're cringe. That they're in front of YouTube recording their "I was threatened" video. That's what happens.
Yes. You're cringe, squidhead.
Our last question tonight is from MouseyCon. Which two Transformers would be best suited for going on a Bill and Ted style time travel adventure?
I mean, there's so many excellent dumbass pairs of Transformers. I mean, in this continuity, it's definitely Hotshot and Sideswipe, the bros. Just continuity wide, I would like to see. It would be a very different vibe, but I would love to see Cyclonus and Whirl. That
would be good. My instinct went immediately to Lug and Anode.
Oh my god.
I think they'd be really funny. It's time for some female dumbasses. We finally got it in the third Bill and Ted movie with their daughters.
You know, Anode would immediately try to do a fucking time heist.
Yeah, Lug would be the only thing keeping her back.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God bless Lug. She deals with so much.
She has to deal so much. So much. Oh, that is the one I want. Forget my answer. Although I would also like to see Cyclonus and Whirl, because that would just be the most stressful thing in the entire world.
Here's the thing. What if... I agree with you on Whirl, but I think it's Whirl and Tailgate, actually.
Oh my god.
Cyclonus is way too serious for a Bill and Ted adventure, but Whirl and Tailgate would be a nightmare.
Yeah. Yep. Because Whirl is Whirl would be a terrible influence on,
and then
on baby Tailgate.
My last answer for this are Rumble and Frenzy.
Oh. Just too... rowdy little shitheads.
One of whom
fucking everything up.
One of whom has experience with time travel. I will never stop referencing
we will eventually watch.
It is literally, here's the thing. A Decepticon and King Arthur's Court is possibly the funniest 20 minutes of television I've ever watched. So I'm never going to stop talking about it.
It is up there. There are episodes of G1 that rival it in terms of just sheer fucking dumbassery, though. There's the one where they get sent to the planet of big aliens where they're all toy sized.
Yeah, sure. Listen, there's the one where, like, the Decepticons' big plan is for Soundwave to open a nightclub. Like, there's a ton of shitty ideas in G1.
That time Megatron's plan was to build a gigantic purple griffin and no one really knew what it was for and it got blown up after 5 minutes.
Oh god, I can't wait for us to get to Chris Lotta's voice work.
Remember when they got the Autobots canceled for using doctored footage?
Yeah!
And got them shot into the sun?
Oh my god, I can't wait for us to get to G1!
Season 2 of G1 is completely fucking
Oh,
cracked.
God.
It's just nonsense.
We will be there in 3 seasons at the latest, I promise you guys, because if Nero doesn't do it before for me, that's gonna be my second choice.
Yeah, we gotta work through season 1 first, which is more sensible, but still kind of wild.
I mean,
it doesn't
G1
have
in
any
general.
of the, like... Oh, yeah. G1, it's just mad. It's just madness. It's just... Fuck, I don't know what was happening there.
Anyway, that's us. We've been Prime Cuts. You can find us on Twitter at Prime Cuts Pod. You can also find our link to our Discord there in the URL section, as well as in the description of all of our episodes, which you can find on any place that has podcasts, basically, as well as Noisepace.xyz, which is the website for the Noisepace Network, which we are very proud to be a member of. There's a lot of very good shows that you can find on there. Digimon Ghost Gaze, the Sonic Shuffle, Kamarocha Radio, Wow Cool Robot, which, again, if you're listening to this, probably up your alley. It's about Gundam. Something for everyone. Go check out Noise Space, and go join our Discord. It's growing. It's going to be fun. Nero's going to start doing Jackbox nights at some point soon. Join
the Discord. We will bestow upon you the dark gifts of the Chaos Bringer.
So yeah, that's where you can find us, and you can find me personally. Again, I'm Audrey at Atman on Prime. That's my funny robot internet joke. You can also listen to the other podcast I do, Pot of Greed, which is also on the Noisepace Network. You can also find it at Pot of Greed Cast on Twitter, and it's about Yu-Gi-Oh! We're in the middle of GX Season 3. Belle is here, and my friend. I know I said that last time, but it remains true. Non-binary icon. Can't wait for us to finish Season 3 and get to Season 4, the Forbidden Season that was never dubbed. That's me.
The normal season.
Where everyone's very normal.
You can find me on Twitter at DragonSmoocher. You can find various other projects I am involved in all sorts of places, such as the show I did with my friend Jane, the full analysis, companion podcast of She-Ra 2018, that is Add Podcast to Power. Also find me talking about the fucking depths of Disney Plus over at Disney Minus Pod, Bob Chapek, parody in Minecraft. We are working on getting the feed up and running for Radio Free Heidelin.
Wow. Maybe by this time next week, you'll actually have a show.
I have the first episode, the first prelude all edited and ready to go. I just have to get it up and running. It's Podbean makes you pay for the additional feeds, so it's kind of a pain in the ass, but it's whatever. The sort of podcast quality is worth it. Anyway, that's at Heidelin Radio, and an additional plug for some of my friends. My friends Gwen and Ruby have started a show called a Naruto Rewatch Podcast, a full Naruto Rewatch Podcast. That means filler. That means movies. That means all of the original and Shippuden. That is at Konoha Crush on Twitter. They're great. They have really insightful and cool things to say about the anime, and they're very funny. I will simply call... you come to me to hear me call Thrust like a sussy baka or whatever. Like, that's what I have to offer you. Anyway, I'm going to call an emergency meeting, say that I saw Thrust venting, and then he is immediately going to freak out on Discord, hang up, and we all vote him out. and I'll transform and roll out.
I'm going to queue up for Mr. Wheelie's Wild Ride, transform and roll out. Peach.
Peach.